I grew up in Olympia, Washington, a small town about 60 miles south of Seattle, Washington. My roots in music goes back probably ever since I could start talking, actually. And as far as writing songs, I probably wrote my first song at about 8 years old. So it goes pretty far. Oh man, I've done a whole bunch of things. I worked for a company called X1 Productions out of Brunswick, Georgia. I was back in the mid-90s. I did a show called A Slice of Blackness. Worked with Wesley Snipes, Henry Magali, Chris Thomas, who actually used to do the Rap City on BET back in the day. 7E is 7 elements. I feel that, you know, music is so much bigger than myself, and I wanted to make sure that everyone involved in the album, at least the crucial parts, had acknowledgement. So 7E is actually the people who were involved in the album, besides myself, God being #1, of course. Oh man, I selected the artists based on obviously their creativity. I selected Tech-9 because, you know, he's probably one of the best at the fast rapping, and, you know, he has a lot of quick, witty things about his style. Selected Prozak because I knew that his lyrics would actually jump out of the speaker because he has such a huge background with movies and theater and things like that. Dame Dub, I just think he's an overall talent. Dame Dub actually helped me put a lot of the song concepts together, and a couple of the songs we both worked on together pretty extensively. The single was Fallen. I chose that because Fallen, I wanted to have a song for the single that everyone could relate to, and I think we all have certain parts of our lives where we just feel like maybe nothing's going right, or we continue to descend, and by perseverance and, you know, just effort, we overcome a lot of things. So it doesn't hurt to fall sometime, because sometime when you stand up, you are so much stronger and wiser about any situation that's put before you. So I chose Fallen because it's a pretty true to life song as far as situations that I've been through myself. I chose Prozak especially for that song because I just knew that he would shed light on the subject matter. Prozak actually is like one of my favorite artists. Don't tell him that, but he really is, because with his film background, he writes like a movie. So you actually can see what's coming off the paper with him. And I knew in Fallen, he would be able to bring sort of, I guess, some theatrical elements to his part of the song, which really makes it jump out of the speakers and really grab a hold of you and make you think. So it was really important getting him on the song. I feel very fortunate to be able to have him on that track. My musical influences would have to start with at home. My mom, she had a very diverse selection of music. I mean, I listened to Rolling Stones, Billy Joel, Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder, Boz Scaggs. I mean, you name it, it was probably playing in our house. I think hip hop, you know, besides a few artists, I think it's really at a huge decline right now, due to the fact that I think a lot of hip hop artists are basically saying the same things, just using different beats and different features. I don't think that there's a whole lot of creativity. And I say that because a lot of the, a lot of guys are using I think it's the voice box or whatever that thing that T-Pain and those guys are doing right now. You know, it's really retro, because you got guys like Peter Frampton and Roger Troutman, who were doing that years ago. So it's kind of weird seeing how these guys are getting a lot of credit for things that this new generation considers to be new stuff, but it's really, you know, been going on for a long time. Just something that opens the minds of the younger generations, you know, because if you listen to 7E, I mean, I do have some music that is sort of like typical hip hop, you know, but I mean, I use everything from symphony orchestra music to rock and roll, alternative. You know, that's what I wanted to bring to hip hop and give the new generation of hip hop listeners, you know, something different to listen to, and just give a better appreciation for music in general. And also, more importantly, to let future artists know that you don't have to follow the norm. You don't just have to have the bass and, you know, all that stuff. You can use a violin or a harp, or, you know, there's several different beautiful instruments to use besides, you know, what people are typically accustomed to hearing in hip hop music. MW Productions, that's like my team, you know. I've known the people for quite a few years. First and foremost, they're good-hearted people. Trustworthy was one of the most important things that I wanted to make sure when I did sign with any label, whether it was MW Productions or Interscope or whatever. I wanted to make sure that I could trust the people and could sit down with them across from a dinner table, whether we're eating steak or we're eating hot dogs. I mean, nothing changes, and everybody's, you know, pretty real. And they tried a lot. You know, a lot of people might think that, oh, an album is just about an artist going in the studio and making it. But, you know, the people that you work with, especially the label, you know, they basically become your family. I spent more time with the people from MW Productions than I did with my own family while recording the album. So they're kind of become a part of your family. And I think that's really important. And I feel very fortunate to be able to have those people behind me. How I would get people to listen to 7E would probably be to let them know that 7E is more than a record, it's more than a CD or whatever you want to call it. 7E is actually a way of life. 7E is, man, I could just go on and on, but just to make a long story short, I would say 7E is an experience. I think once you put in 7E from track 1 to track 17, you go through what I've been going through all my life, and us, you know, there's a lot of similarities in people in general, and I think I was able to reach out and tell a story that a lot of people probably have the same story.